Hello gamers, welcome to Game Recaps. As I promised before, in this video, I will continue the storyline of the game Firework developed by Shiying Studio and published by Gamersault. Previously, Lin Lixun and Miss Chen, who were investigating the Tian family's death case, found a clue that might prove that Zhao and Dr. Ye weren't the masterminds of the Tian family's murder. However, is that really the case? Or, if someone else was the mastermind behind the murder, what was the motive behind it? Okay, without wasting any more time, I will continue to discuss the storyline of the Firework game. Lin Lixun and Miss Chen suddenly found themselves in a photo studio. And with just a glance, Miss Chen immediately knew that the photo studio was where Zhao worked before she married Yu. Hearing this, Lin Lixun immediately became suspicious of Miss Chen, why she knew so much about the Tian family background. Miss Chen finally admitted that she was a journalist before deciding to become an elementary school teacher. When the Tian family's death incident occurred, Miss Chen accidentally did her old habit of gathering as much information as possible about the Tian family. In the middle of their conversation, the camera that was there suddenly turned on, then took a picture of them, and the results were very satisfying. When the Tian family visited the shaman's residence on May 19, 2004, they received news that the shaman had been arrested by the police on charges of fraud and superstitious activities. But the news did not necessarily make Heguilon and Seongrong give up. They visit the shaman in prison and pay him to get the seance method, because Heguilon and Seongrong intend to perform the seance ritual at home. From that day on, Zhao felt like she was always being watched, and for some reason, every now and then, Heguilon would always come to her room and check on her. According to Fong Fong, her mother often behaved like her father, Yu. Even Zhao, who was not a smoker, was seen smoking in front of Wang Jinchai. This explains why after the death of her family, Wang Jinchai said that she was a mad woman. After investigating further, Lin Lixun and Miss Chen finally managed to reveal that Zhao's strange behavior was caused by Seongrong and Heguilon, who had performed the Yu spirit summoning ritual. They made a very delicious fried fish dish for Zhao, even though they knew that Zhao didn't like any fish dishes at all. It turned out that the fish had been spiked with something, and if Zhao ate it, then Yu's spirit could enter her body. Sure enough, after Zhao ate it, she said that she really liked the fish dish, indicating that Yu's spirit had entered her body. From then on, Zhao would act like Yu for a while, and this only happened every time Seongrong and Heguilon performed Yu's seance ritual, which was only allowed once a week. But strangely, after Lin Lixun did further investigation, he found that Yu was being tortured in Hellfire because he was indirectly enjoying the benefits that Seongrong got by breaking the debt to the dead superstition. So there was no way that Yu's spirit could possess Zhao. If so, then whose spirit possessed Zhao's body? Lin Lixun and Miss Chen then continued their investigation to uncover the facts behind it all. Through the Tian family's autopsy results, Lin Lixun learned that Seongrong, Heguilon, and Fong Fong had been proven to have died due to rat poison mixed with sleeping pills, indicating that all three died after taking sleeping pills. The police managed to find 3 different fingerprints attached to the bottle cap of sleeping pills. However, until now, they are still looking for the 3 people who have the fingerprints. The investigation team suspected that Zhao had schizophrenia, which explains why she behaved strangely after Yu's death. And the one who put the rat poison into the sleeping pills was none other than Zhao herself. After the entire Tian family died, Zhao took her own life. However, Lin Lixun and Miss Chen did not necessarily believe this allegation. They then returned to the Tian family residence and looked for clues to the fingerprints. But before starting the investigation, Miss Chen told Lin Lixun that she had not told the whole truth. Actually, Miss Chen is a journalist who is assigned to uncover Tian Seongrong's dirty work, namely selling ancient Chinese cultural relics belonging to the dead. After gathering various information, Miss Chen found out that while doing his dirty work, Tian Seongrong was assisted by Wang Jinchai. By selling ancient Chinese cultural relics, Seongrong and Wang Jinchai managed to make a lot of profit, because the people who bought these relics were willing to spend a lot of money to get their coveted goods. Miss Chen also knew that Seongrong used to be someone who worked at a bank, so he had a habit of recording every transaction in his accounting book. This accounting book was what Miss Chen wanted, and in order to get it, she disguised herself as a teacher at Fong Fong's school, because by getting closer to Fong Fong, it would be easier for her to get Tian Xiangrong's accounting book. After becoming a teacher at Fong Fong's school, Miss Chen got to know Fong Fong's mother, Zhao. Miss Chen then told Zhao that Fong Fong had great talent in the arts, so Miss Chen suggested to Zhao to send Fong Fong to a big city in order to hone her potential. Hearing this, Zhao then revealed to Miss Chen that in fact, she also wanted to take Fong Fong away from this remote city. But Songrong and Heguilon never agreed to the idea. Therefore, Miss Chen made a deal with Zhao, in which Zhao had to hand over Tian Xiangrong's accounting book to her. With using the accounting book as evidence, Miss Chen could uncover Tian Xiangrong's dirty work and put him in prison. Then Zhao and Fong Fong could leave Qingtan City without a hitch. However, Miss Chen told Lin Lixun that up until now, she still couldn't find Tian Xiangrong's accounting book, and all of the Tian family members were gone. Lin Lixun really appreciated Miss Chen's honesty, and the two of them resumed their investigation of the 3 fingerprints attached to the bottle cap of the sleeping pill. After browsing the Tian family residence, Lin Lixun and Miss Chen managed to find the 3 matching fingerprints. They then matched the 3 fingerprints to the fingerprints left on the cap of the sleeping pill bottle, where every time they matched, Lin Lixun would get a vision. The first fingerprint was Zhao's. At that time, Zhao, who was about to take sleeping pills because she was having a lot of thoughts, then she was visited by Fong Fong. Fong Fong then asked if she could also take sleeping pills. Of course Zhao didn't allow it. When Fong Fong asked the reason, Zhao explained that sleeping pills should only be taken by people who couldn't sleep because they had a lot of thoughts, and when they woke up the next day, the minds of those who took sleeping pills would be clear again. Fong Fong seemed to understand after hearing her mother's explanation and said that now she knows why her mother seems happy lately. The second fingerprint was Fong Fong's. The little girl secretly took some sleeping pills. And the third fingerprint was Xiangrong's. One night, Heguilon and Xiangrong secretly entered Zhao's room and briefly discussed what the shaman said to them, that if Zhao's soul left her body when they summoned Yu's spirit, then Yu's spirit could forever possess Zhao's body. In other words, Xiangrong and Heguilon wanted Zhao dead, and her body taken over by Yu's spirit once and for all, because then, they wouldn't have to bother with the seance ritual anymore. Tian Xiangrong then secretly mixed rat poison into Zhao's sleeping pill bottle. This finally confirmed that the Tian family's death was caused by Tian Xiangrong himself. But what really happened? After analyzing the various clues he had uncovered throughout the investigation, Lin Lixun was finally able to deduce the true chronology of events behind the Tian family's death. It all started with the death of Yu, who died of epilepsy, and after Yu died, the Tian family mourned for a long time. Losing his only son and only child, Heguilon repeatedly begged the shaman to summon Yu's spirit, and as a result, the shaman was arrested by the police on charges of fraud. Not giving up until there, Xiangrong paid the shaman to get a seance method so that they could perform the seance ritual themselves at home. Summoning rituals required the living bodies that would later become receptacles for the spirits of the dead, and according to Xiangrong and Heguilon, the perfect vessel would be none other than Zhao. Fong Fong accidentally eavesdrops on her grandparents' conversation about the plan they are going to do with her mother, and reveals the plan to her mother. Understanding the situation, Zhao decided to follow Xiangrong and Heguilon's plot. She pretends to be possessed by the spirit of her husband, Yu, in hopes that Xiangrong and Heguilon will allow her and Fong Fong to leave the remote town of Qingtan and live in the big city. Zhao hoped that if Xiangrong and Heguilon thought she had been possessed by Yu, then the two of them would definitely comply with their own son's request. Therefore, Zhao pretended to act like her husband in front of them, such as smoking in front of Wang Jinchai, tending to Yu's favorite plant, and so on, in order to convince her in-laws so that she could ask to leave Qingtan City with Fong Fong and send her to school in a big city. However, Zhao had underestimated Xiangrong and Heguilon's longing for their son. The seance ritual could only be done once a week, while Xiangrong and Heguilon wanted to see their son every day. This is what ultimately led to the murder incident. Tian Xiangrong put rat poison into Zhao's sleeping pill bottle. But why did Xiangrong, Heguilon, and Fong Fong die from the rat poison instead of Zhao? Zhao should have just died because she was the only one taking sleeping pills, and oddly enough, Zhao died by suicide. The fact was that after Xiangrong put rat poison into Zhao's sleeping pills, Fong Fong, who was still innocent and ignorant, took some of the sleeping pills secretly. The little girl did not know that the sleeping pills had been mixed with rat poison, because all she thought about was her mother's words about sleeping pills that can make people who take them feel refreshed and think clearly. Every day, Fong Fong saw that her grandparents were always in mourning over the death of her father, and her mother also always looked gloomy and had many thoughts. Therefore, Fong Fong put sleeping pills that had been mixed with rat poison into the soup that was being cooked. At that time, Zhao was going to Dr. Ye's clinic to buy cough medicine, and when she got home, how shocked she was to find out that Fong Fong, He Guilin, and Tian Xiangrong had died from eating soup that had been mixed with rat poison. Zhao cried in frustration and could not endure the suffering, until finally, Zhao decided to end her own life by hanging herself. After understanding what really happened, Lin Lixun planned to report the investigation results to his superiors, even though he knew that it would be futile because there was no evidence to support the results of his investigation. Before leaving, Miss Chen once again revealed that she had lied to Lin Lixun. Actually, Miss Chen had already obtained Tian Xiangrong's accounting book and handed it over to her boss. The two then left the Tian family residence, but Miss Chen told Lin Lixun that she had left something inside, so she went back into the Tian family residence to look for it. In the midst of waiting for Miss Chen, the phone rang, and when it was picked up, there was a conversation between Miss Chen and her superiors. Lin Lixun learned that after Miss Chen handed over the accounting book, she requested that her name not be revealed to the public when the article about Tian Xiangrong's crime was published in the newspaper. Miss Chen also refuses to get a promotion and decides to quit her job as a journalist to serve as a teacher. Unfortunately, it was Miss Chen's last phone call. The news of Miss Chen's disappearance immediately shocked the citizens of Qingtan City. Miss Chen was last seen coming home from school on the evening of September 23, 2004. Local residents believed that Miss Chen had drowned in the river because it was the rainy season. Others believed that this was the Tian family's curse, because Miss Chen was known to be quite familiar with Fong Fong and Zhao. Some students tried to find Miss Chen by floating candles on the surface of the river, because according to their belief, people who drown in water can return by following the candle's light. Lin Lixun then went to see Miss Chen one last time, where they were now in Miss Chen's backyard. She then told Lin Lixun that when she was a child, she had fallen into a well at night. When she looked up at the sky, she saw the beauty of the shining stars. Soon, someone threw a rope into the well. But when she managed to get out of the well, she found no one there. When Miss Chen disguised herself as a teacher at Fong Fong's school, she then understood that the children in Qingtan City were just like her when she was trapped in the well. Miss Chen was determined to be the one to throw the rope at them. She wanted the children of Qingtan City to get out of this remote city in the mountains and see the wide world. Hearing this, Lin Lixun said that now the children are also waiting for Miss Chen to return. But then, they were suddenly in the well, and Miss Chen asked Lin Lixun to climb the rope. Lin Lixun then did so, climbed the rope and started climbing upwards. But when Lin Lixun looked back, Miss Chen was gone. Until now, no one knew where Miss Chen had gone. Maybe Miss Chen went to a faraway place and would come back someday. Or maybe Miss Chen was already one of the stars in the sky that emitted such a brilliant light. Lin Lixun then regained consciousness at Dr. Ye's clinic, with Zhang Ming and their superior Captain Liu. Zhang Ming said that Lin Lixun was found unconscious in the bathroom of the Tian family residence. This indicated that Lin Lixun had been lying there unconscious all this time. Zhang Ming then explained that they had found a suspect in the Tian family murder case, namely Dr. Ye, but it didn't matter anymore, because Dr. Ye was already burnt to death in his black van. They assumed that Dr. Ye was smoking while driving his black van and accidentally threw a still-lit cigarette butt on the fireworks, which instantly exploded and started a fire. Hearing his colleague's explanation, Lin Lixun recalled the incident when he spoke with Dr. Ye, where finally Lin Lixun realized that Dr. Ye was deliberately smoking in front of him as if Dr. Ye wanted Lin Lixun to think that he was a smoker. In fact, Dr. Ye was not a smoker. Why did Dr. Ye pretend to smoke and bother convincing Lin Lixun that he was a smoker? Lin Lixun finally realized that Dr. Ye had an important role in everything Zhao did to convince her two in-laws that she had been possessed by her husband's spirit. Dr. Ye turned out to be the one who proposed to Zhao to pretend to be possessed by Yu's spirit, and that way, Zhao was able to convince Songrong and He Guilin to take Fong Fong away from Qingtan City. After finding out that Dr. Ye was not a smoker, Lin Lixun then rushed to the autopsy room to examine the corpse that was thought to be Dr. Ye. Sure enough, after examining it with a female doctor named Song Xinhui, Lin Lixun discovered that on the corpse that was supposed to be Dr. Ye, the ribs were not broken. In fact, Dr. Ye had broken a rib when he was badly beaten by Tian Songrong and his gang. Lin Lixun immediately contacted his superiors to trace the location of Dr. Ye's whereabouts, and it was finally discovered that Dr. Ye was at a train station. Lin Lixun rushed to follow the man there. Arriving at the station, Lin Lixun finally found Dr. Ye sitting, waiting for the train to arrive. The two of them then got into a conversation where Lin Lixun finally found out that Dr. Ye had planned everything since they first met. The reason Dr. Ye smoked in front of Lin Lixun was for Lin Lixun to believe that the person who burned to death in his black van was him. That way, he could leave Qingtan City without anyone getting caught. When Lin Lixun asked the reason for helping Zhao, Dr. Ye gave a simple answer: because he had experienced the same suffering as a child. In reality, he was a victim of human trafficking as a child, and that's why he ended up in Qingtan City. He helped Zhao because he didn't want her to suffer the same fate he had during the years living in Qingtan City. Dr. Ye then asked how Lin Lixun could understand all the things that happened in the past. Lin Lixun then said that he could communicate with the spirits of the dead. This explains all the events in the Firework game, as what the shaman said that Lin Lixun met when he was a child. It is heaven's will. You can see ghosts, so all supernatural occurrences such as moving from one place to another, getting visions, and meeting Miss Chen's spirit during the investigation could happen because Lin Lixun had that ability. Dr. Ye then asked Lin Lixun to report him as the murderer of the Tian family, but Lin Lixun refused and arrested Dr. Ye on charges of arson, which is Wang Jinchai's corpse. After the investigation process was completed, Dr. Ye was finally sentenced to prison on charges of arson and desecration of human corpses, as well as falsification of evidence for the death of the Tian family. The Tian family's death case was eventually closed and the police never knew what really happened. A few days later, the citizens of Qingtan found the resignation letter written by Miss Chen down the river. A photo then slipped from Lin Lixun's notebook, and it was a photo of him and Miss Chen. Today is Miss Chen's funeral day, but of course they buried her without a corpse. Okay, so that's the whole story of the Firework game, which in my personal opinion, apart from presenting a gripping mystery and horror, the story in this game also manages to provide an emotional side that touches the heart, such as the story told by Miss Chen and also the bitter and ironic reality behind the death of the Tian family. The credit song entitled Farewell is planned to be sung by elementary school students for Miss Chen if one day Miss Chen leaves the school, which indicates that Miss Chen is a person who is loved by her students. As for the whole story in the Firework game, it is indeed quite complex with an astonishing plot twist, even though it's actually just as simple as differences in beliefs and internal conflicts within the family. Of course, there are those who believe that all of these events occurred because of a violation of superstition. But on the other hand, there are also those who do not believe. Please write your opinion in the comments column about this game, and thank you for watching.